officials are set to announce a detailed plan on how they'll deal with rampant land invasion across the province. Last week, the Red Ants evicted hundreds of people who had illegally occupied RDP housing in Roodepoort. Newzroom Afrika's Malungelo Booi joins us now to speak ahead of this meeting. Malungelo, a very good morning to you. We saw the impact of just one incident, that incident of land invasions in Roodepoort. And of course, we know that throughout the past few weeks, especially during the lockdown, we've seen the land invasions mushrooming across the country. What can be expected as Gauteng officials prepare for this briefing?
That's right. In fact, the officials that will be giving us detail really about this plan on how they intend dealing with the problem of land invasion is MEC Lebogang Maile. Faith Mazibuko is also here, and as well as the Mayor of Johannesburg, Jeff Mahukuba. They're just having a meeting. I suppose they're just being briefed by officials on what actually we will be doing here today. As you rightfully said, over the past few months, even in fact we can actually say over the past 2 years in Gauteng, we have seen an increase in land grab activities with people just going and invading land. Most of the people that invade land, when you speak to them, they will tell you that they need to build houses for themselves because they've long been waiting for government to provide them with housing, and they're saying that they can no longer wait. As you rightfully said, during the lockdown, since the lockdown which was announced by President in March, we have also seen an increase in number of people invading land. In fact, what we've also been seeing is that people have not only been invading vacant land, but they've also been invading vacant government or RDP properties, saying that they need those properties. The latest incident being the one you spoke about that happened in Roodepoort, where hundreds of people had moved in those RDP units, saying that those units had in fact been standing there vacant with no one occupying them, and government not saying anything as to why those units were vacant, and so people decided to move in. But then the Red Ants moved in and in fact removing those people out. Police and security guards having to use rubber bullets in that particular incident. So Gauteng authorities are saying that an urgent, in fact they're saying that an emergency plan is what they will be announcing today on how then do they deal with the problem of land grabs in this province. But we know that this problem is not only unique to Gauteng, we know it's also happening in other parts of the country. But what makes this incident though quite interesting here in Gauteng is because we know that in Gauteng 1 million people are currently on their housing waiting list, and also we know that about 300,000 people immigrate to Gauteng every year, and then that puts this particular province in that peculiar situation when it comes to housing.
Now, we saw the Minister of Human Settlements trying to resolve a part of this problem by saying that she'll be roping in the military to assist. The military was indeed present when you were in Roodepoort, as that community vowed to return as soon as those officials left that area. As we speak about the interventions that are being put in place, I mean, as this plan is set to be unveiled, is the Minister's plan to bring in the defense minister, to bring in the military, effective enough in curbing what seems to really be a massive problem?
Well, it's anyone's guess, really, Mpo, whether that will be effective or not. Only time will tell. But here's what the minister, in the statement that she had issued on last week when we saw those evictions in Rudaport, she did concede that we do have a housing problem in this country. And also, though, said that they cannot, as government, they cannot allow people to invade properties and also invade land that is already earmarked for development, saying that if people invade land, that in a way derails all other planned development. And so saying that law enforcement officials need to do what they must do in order to make sure that they prevent people from invading, whether it's land or properties that have already been built. Here in Gauteng, we also know, Mpo, that David Makura, that's the Premier, at some point he had spoken about rapid land release program, where they were saying that they would actually sort of like give service stands to people who can build for themselves. I don't know then how far that program has gone, but when you look at the situation, the mushrooming of informal settlements all over Gauteng, that would actually say that perhaps that program has not actually been that effective.